It's a buildup of a human. It's a story of a nation. It is a saga where new dreams will be charted, and definitely, we are hoping for the better of the humankind at the end of the day. So, this hope mission is a hope for all humankind that there is a better tomorrow for us, for sure. Scientific achievement of Hope probe is basically studying of the Mars in a total picture on daily basis, where we can understand the mechanism of the atmosphere. What today we see on Mars is something very contradictory. We see signs of water. We see there is an ice, but from CO2. We see so many things on Mars which indicated that the past of Mars was totally different. So we want to ask one question: what happened? How today we see dunes, we see deserts on Mars, and we don't see the water? We learned from Mars that the desert is being made by water, not by the wind. And that was very amazing to find it at Mars. But today we want to understand the mechanism. How does the atmosphere of Mars is changed over the time? So to do that, we have three different types of instruments. One is the one which we're going to probe for the upper atmosphere. The second will be from the middle atmosphere, and the third one will be the topographic and the lower atmosphere studying. This whole picture of three levels of Mars atmosphere will give us a great understanding, detailed understanding of what's going on Mars and what was Mars in past, and give us some explanation of what features and phenomena we see today on Mars. Why we are studying Mars? Mars is the most similar planet to the Earth currently in the solar system by far. What I mean by that? Mars have a land, Mars have an atmosphere, Mars have seasons. Mars is tilted on its axis like Earth on 25 degrees. Mars had water. Mars is looking today as a barren planet of desert. What happened? It opens more questions in case of we get our atmosphere changed. What about if we get the greenhouse effect? What about if we change our atmosphere so drastically that the water could escape to the space? Could Earth become Mars someday? How? You see, what we see through studying Mars is a detailed picture, scenarios of what could go wrong with Earth if we do not save Earth from our action. This is the most important part. It's not that we are talking about a hypothetical thing or something might happen, or we are trying to really look at the effect of humans today on Earth through a picture from the Mars. Mars gives us a lots of information in this area itself only. Besides much more things to study from geology point of view, from the atmospheric point of view, from different kind of details, which will again help us again to understand the rest of the solar system. The vision of the UAE is very prosperous and very amazing. Our rulers have given us a goal to build a city on Mars by 2117. 100 years from now almost, we have to build a city on Mars. That is a great challenge. We know today Mars is no place for humankind. So what it will require? A development of technology, development of methodologies, development of sociology, you name it. And we have to develop it. Staying in space for a long time, staying in low gravity, so many challenges we can see. What happened? How today we see dunes, we see deserts on Mars, and we don't see the water. We learned from Mars that the desert is being made by water, not by the wind. And that was very amazing to find it at Mars. But today we want to understand the mechanism. How does the atmosphere of Mars is changed over the time? So to do that, we have three different types of instruments. One is the one which we're going to probe for the upper atmosphere. The second will be from the middle atmosphere, and the third one will be the topographic and the lower atmosphere studying. This whole picture of three levels of Mars atmosphere will give us a great understanding, detailed understanding of what's going on Mars and what was Mars in past, and give us some explanation of what features and phenomena we see today on Mars. Why we are studying Mars? Mars is the most similar planet to the Earth currently in the solar system by far. What I mean by that? Mars have a land, Mars have an atmosphere, Mars have seasons. Mars is tilted on its axis like Earth on 25 degrees. Mars had water. Mars is looking today as a barren planet of desert. What happened? It opens more questions than it answers. And it resembles the Earth in case of we get our atmosphere changed. If we change our atmosphere so drastically that the water could escape to the space, could Earth become Mars someday? How? You see, what we see through studying Mars is a detailed picture, scenarios of what could go wrong with Earth if we do not save Earth from our action. This is the most important part. It's not that we are talking about a hypothetical thing or something might happen, or we are trying to really look at the effect of humans today on Earth through a picture from the Mars. Mars gives us a lots of information in this area itself only. Besides much more things to study from geology point of view, from the atmospheric point of view, from different kind of details, which will again help us again to understand the rest of the solar system. The vision of the UAE is very prosperous and very amazing. Our rulers have given us a goal to build a city on Mars by 2117. 100 years from now almost, we have to build a city on Mars. That is a great challenge. We know today Mars is no place for humankind. So what it will require? A development of technology, development of methodologies, development of sociology, you name it. And we have to develop it. Staying in space for a long time, staying in low gravity, so many challenges we can see Mars poses over us to build a city there. So it's a vision of really developing new technologies to go and explore Mars and beyond, and really make a sense of space exploration. So the moon will be our next step, going to the Mars is next, going to the planets is next, going to the stars. So that's what I believe that our objective is. We are, as humankind, we are the explorers. And I think we can do it if we put our mind and set our goals that we want to achieve something great like this. We can do it. And definitely we can learn a lot. And in the return of it, again, I'm emphasizing that we're going to develop ourselves and develop our communities and develop our countries and develop our planet Earth. That is a byproduct of going to the Mars. Having all of these dreams over Mars is actually development of our nations and humankind. Hi, I am Hasan Al Hariri, CEO of Dubai Astronomy Group. The objective and the goals of Mars mission or Hope mission to Mars is a very great than just scientific achievement. Going to Mars is a symbolic and motivator to our country, to the people of the Gulf nations, to the Arabic nations. All of this mission is carrying hope that we have better tomorrow. We can achieve a lot. We can do so much things. We have to dream big. Today, when we are going to the Mars, we are solving so many issues which we are facing today to the Earth. And there is a lot to be really looked at. So it's a build-up of a human. It's a story of a nation. It is a saga where new dreams will be charted, and definitely, we are hoping for the better of the humankind at the end of the day. So this hope mission is a hope for all humankind that there is a better tomorrow for us, for sure. Scientific achievement of Hope probe is basically studying of the Mars in a total picture on daily basis, where we can understand the mechanism of the atmosphere. What today we see on Mars is something very contradictory. We see signs of water. We see there is an ice, but from CO2. We see so many things on Mars which indicated that the past of Mars was totally different. So we want to ask one question: what happened? How today we see dunes, we see deserts on Mars, and we don't see the water? We learned from Mars that the desert is being made by water, not by the wind. And that was very amazing to find it at Mars. But today we want to understand the mechanism. How does the atmosphere of Mars is changed over the time? So to do that, we have
You're live. Hello and welcome to this live stream with the Dubai Astronomy Group. My name is Sheeraz Awan, and I'd like to welcome all our viewers to this historic moment in your lifetime. This is something which we will always remember. This is, for us, this is something like Neil Armstrong going to the moon. This is the first space mission that we've sent to an interplanetary, it's the first interplanetary mission. And to discuss this and to get more insight on this mission, we actually have our two renowned astronomers with us, our CEO, Mr. Hasan Al Hariri, and our observatory professional astronomer, and a very, very good friend, Umair Asim. Guys, can you please sound check? Can you guys hear me?
definitely, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Shiraz.
Right. So as we speak, we are about 11 minutes from orbit insertion. And before we reach that point, I have a couple of questions that I would like to ask both of you. And this discussion will continue for even after we've reached orbit. We will be switching in and out from different views. But before that, once we reach that point, there are a couple of points which I would like to get your opinion about. Now, here's the thing: is that I am a little flustered right now because I'm feeling giddy like a schoolboy. This is a very historic and very important moment in my life. And this is what I was telling Umair earlier, that it feels like I'm in grade 5 and this is me getting ready for parent teacher meeting when I've done everything right, but I don't know what's about to happen, and it's really amazing. So this is something which I'd actually like to get from the both of you as well. What are your sentiments at this historic moment?
Mr. Hassan, you please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Umair. What to say? It is by every mean, this is one of those kind of moments of very important, dramatic moment of lifetime. It is, I can say it, like landing on moon, how exciting it was. Achieving something very big for Arab world, for a country like UAE, it's very, very historical. And the way we are presenting these things, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, today with all of this connectivity globally, the things is becoming more, what we can say, available for people to see, to follow up and communicate. And at that age of the hype of communication, hype of technology, we are achieving something very nice, very something very important. It have a value in our heart more than what we can say intangibly. Mars, many countries have gone to the Mars, 4 or 5 countries. We are joining the things out. For us, it's a first time. For us, it's a hope. And this is the hope which I was hoping from very, very long time. When I started the astronomy, my hope was very high that someday I'll become astronauts. We're going to have the interplanetary traveling concept. And those things have gone gradually since 70s, I'm talking about, down all the way in 90s, where I almost near lost my hope that ever we might have a space program. Now, in the last 10 years, what our leaders have done to us, they brought back the hope to our nation that we can really do something amazing. And this is the top of the iceberg. This is the top of the mountain. That this thing is being done. The probe is being launched and it's going to reach to Mars now. The moment is very big, very big. And it's affecting everybody. I mean, I'm just not talking about myself. I'm sure about every person who is hearing, listening, or watching TV.
You can see the crosshair.
Everybody
When
have
we are about
something to
reach
connect with this mission. That this mission is really by its
when you're
name,
about to reach
the
the
hope,
countdown,
the hope, the
I
bringing
want
back the
share
hope
screen.
to the
Send
hearts, to
these 3
the
pictures over here
brains, to the
and
people,
this video being
that
captured.
even a small
Okay.
nation, small country like UAE can do amazing things.
Sorry? You don't need this.
So definitely all of us, when we unify our efforts as a global level, we can do the miracles. Umair, to
Thank
you,
you very
Anna.
much, sir. Umair, just before I start, I mean, you answer this question, I'd like to update everybody. We are 7 minutes away from the point of orbit insertion. Umair, yes, please, same question. Sentiments.
Mr. Hassan has beautifully explained the whole
Keep
sentiment
me
of
muted when
the
I'm not
nation,
talking.
and especially his use of the word hope is really meaningful and appropriate. And the thing is that this is such a bold step that UAE didn't go for Earth orbiter or maybe lunar orbiter. They straight away went to the Mars. So yes, it is a bold step, but they know how to do things. They have the capability, and their passion, their energy is amazing. And these last few minutes, I can see the counter, it's like somewhere around 6 minutes now. So our heartbeats are getting uh, irregular, rather, I should say. So yes, we are really hopeful, and we are so excited to see the mission.
Yes, the counter is on. I think everybody's eyes are fixated on the counter. It is 5 minutes and 25 seconds. So, okay. So, to keep my mind occupied, let's continue talking. And first and foremost, I'd like Mr. Hassan, you've mentioned the sentiments, but also you've shed light upon how it is being taken in the region. But what does this actually mean for the future of space and astronomy in terms of how is this mission important? As in, could you please shed some light on that?
Sure, sure. This mission is very much kind of a startup. It is not the end vision, it is the startup of the vision of the space. As I was saying, that the whole program of the space in the UAE is less than 10 years old. And it came out of necessity. It was not a luxury. Maybe some people don't know about the background about how the space program of the UAE have came up. I mean, we as a country is even comparing to other old countries. We are a very new country, comparing 50 years old. I mean, this year we are completing our 50 years of initiating United Arab Emirates. We have developed, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, from almost like a nomadic life and villages to now metropolitan cities, huge size and huge infrastructures. So the past past time which was gone around 50 years back, what we have done is actually invested in human and education and health and the infrastructure and build-up of the country. And we saw that how important it is to invest in human. And that was the message of our late ruler, peace be upon him, rahmatullah alayh, Sheikh Zayed. Sheikh Zayed visioned that the most important investment would be in the human. And the second most important investment would be in a land, in food. With these two elements in his hand, successively he have demonstrated that even the people who are absolutely don't know anything can become engineers, can become scientists, and the barren lands which cannot bring up any kind of plants can really produce everything. There were so many meetings with Sheikh Zayed with different kind of things, people talking about the people, about the land and all of that. And he explained and he challenged that we can do it. And he did it. Today, what we are standing on top of that man legacy. And he proved it to everybody that it's possible to do the impossible. So the new generation, when they come up to pick up the torch of progress, the torch of our nation, they showcased a new vision. Yes, so what should be the next? What should be the way to really go and develop ourselves and everybody else? So with the new vision of our rulers, Sheikh Khalifa, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, they envisioned the things in very unique way and very beautiful way. They envisioned that the new challenges should be mighty, should be big, should be something which will really make us international. Looking at that, we want to extend our hand to everybody with full tolerance, accepting the others, communicating with others, exchanging the information with others, and take everybody with us to go to the space. Space, why space? Space is our future. It's our humankind next level of development. Now, I want to explain here something very important for all of us, that if today we are going to go to space, we have to unify as a humankind to protect and preserve ourselves and definitely have a safe journey into the space. With our differences, we will not go anywhere. We will be sitting on the ground and we will be fighting each other and we'll be looking at each other and trying to really do nothing except killing each other. So the space is the ultimate unifier for all of us. And it's a place where we can put our differences aside and appraise our unification points and become more objective toward discovery, science, toward development, towards solving the problems of the earth, and to become positive. And this is one of the most important elements in life of humankind. Pessimistic people, negative thinkers, they never go anywhere. Only the positive thinkers, they are the explorers. They are the one who really go and explore uncharted areas. They are the one who really develop the life. They are the one who are charting the future.
Sir,
So with this, I know
yeah,
I have to stop.
I'm now switching on to this live share from Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center. And can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yes. The time is up. The orbiter should be there.
Yes.
But I think the confirmation would come after a few minutes, maybe 10 to 11 minutes.
I guess so. The confirmation definitely will reach us later. This is part of the
Mars is,
expected package. But
yeah. So Mars is like 10 and a half minutes, light minutes away from us. So any signal of confirmation should be arriving here, something like after 10 to 11 minutes. And they would immediately tell us that, inshallah, it's a success.
Ms. Hasan, at this point, I'd actually like to ask you one more very important thing. I know for a fact that one of your biggest elements which you love about space and astronomy is mission design, and which is why I think you are the right person to tell me what exactly are the sentiments. I mean, if I am so giddy, what are the exact sentiments which are going through the minds of our amazing people that are involved in this mission? What is happening in mission control right now?
It's all, everybody is looking at screens to read the data and telemetry. Anxiety, anxiousness, anticipation, all different kind of feeling going on, but most of the feeling is pointing toward reading the numbers which is coming on the screens from different places. Let me just go and give you the kind of a background how the information is coming through. The information is actually from the Mars probe, which is the Hope probe. The signals goes to what we call the ground station. The ground station, there's a network of NASA called the DSN, Deep Space Network. There they have big
نظام أنظمة المسبار تعمل بشكل جيد وبطريقة منتظمة. محركات الدفع الستة تعمل بشكل
Amran
جيد.
Sharaf is explaining the data, the basic information of data, which has been received by the DSN network, and from the DSN network, it's being channelized down to control center in the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center. And here we see everything he's saying is normal, the reading is positive, and all the software is running as expected. So all of this kind of things, readings and numbers are on the eyes of the engineers and the controllers. Definitely, we want to just emphasize that we are just going to observe the things out rather than we can control it, because there is a lack of communication of 10 minutes or more between us and the spacecraft, and it is in total autonomous mode.
So, sir, would it be safe to say that it has entered orbit and we still don't know? Is that what the case is?
Yes, this is exactly what's happening. Whatever we're going to receive now, it is already happened 10 minutes back. So the data and numbers which we are looking at, it is the old data and information, 10 minutes old, from Mars to Earth.
وشكرا. تفضل.
شكرا.
We are so excited.
It is.
The moment they would tell us the news.
Yes, definitely. It's, as I said, historical moment for all of us to see that, yes, we have reached to Mars. We have reached to the Mars, to be very frank with you all. We have reached to the Mars. The only thing that's we're going to really have a successful insertion. Exactly. I mean, how lucky we are to see in our lifetime. By the way, everybody, in 90s, I almost gave up the hope that someday we'll be able, even we're going to have some sort of space program by means of a space program. But subhanallah, keeping the hope in the heart and doing the good work is the one which really brings up the reality, things to reality. And we should never give up the hope. And this is one of the most important lessons of my life. How dark the world would look like, how bleak the sky could go. But still, there is a hope that tomorrow after the night, the day will come, the sun will rise. Something will happen. Something will really give us a better tomorrow. And I believe that today is one of those days to give us new hope for the new future, for us, for you, for everybody who is listening to us. This is an amazing moment.
نيل تايسون يحدثنا عن مهام مسبار الأمل الإماراتي غير المسبوقة في تاريخ البعثات السابقة للكوكب الأحمر. وتايسون هو عالم مختص بالفيزياء الفلكية وهو أيضا كاتب ومقدم العديد من البرامج العلمية.
Yes.
That's the extent of my Arabic.
Okay. Now they have recorded early interview with Dr. Tyson. He was talking about how amazing this kind of mission looks.
I am delighted to learn that the United Arab Emirates is sending a Hope probe to Mars. This is a mission that carries so many dimensions to its value to the United Arab Emirates, to the Arab states, to the world. The mission is going to go into orbit around Mars and measure its atmosphere. That's something that no one has really done before. We've been distracted by its surface. All right, might there be life? Is there water? Polar ice caps? Meanwhile, what does the atmosphere tell us? Any indication of what the atmosphere was once like? What it will be like in the future? Oh my gosh. You don't have water unless there's an atmosphere that can support it. Science is the greatest source of collaboration of nations there ever was. Why? Because scientists speak the same language as each other. Same with engineers and mathematicians. So it is inherently ripe for bringing international collaborators with you so they can participate in your dreams. We did that in the United States, all right? We didn't just create a space program all by ourselves. No, we got help. And you know what that did for us back then? These were headlines. Oh my gosh, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a scientist. You didn't need special programs to excite people. They just wanted to do it because it was a point of pride. It was a point of participation. Everyone was cheering. And so if you can capture that spirit with your Hope probe, not only in the United Arab Emirates itself, but in the Arab states, you can ensure generations of people will want to carry that torch forward. And by the way, this torch has kind of always been there. So the legacy is there. And you just have to look back a little ways and say, yeah, that used to happen, and it used to happen here in the Middle East. And looking at how you've conceived the project, oh my gosh, with the fraction of women who are participating in it, at all levels of the project, and scientists, engineers, and managers. The fact that women are a big part of that will ensure that your future is reaching for all the best ideas, the best talent that could possibly be produced on that frontier of exploration. So that's what makes it just a spectacular mission. It's an affirmation that exploration and discovery is not really just for scientists, it's for us all. So, congratulations. And I'll even say good luck, because sometimes you need a little bit of that too. Oh, I'll add one more thing. When you're on the frontier, occasionally stuff goes wrong. Nothing wrong with that. All right? Some wise mentors I've had told me the day you stop making mistakes is the day you can guarantee you are no longer on the frontier.
So just keeping everybody updated, even though the countdown has run, we are still around 2,000 kilometers away, according to the data that I'm receiving away. We're something like around 2,000 kilometers away, and the speed of the probe is currently 85,000 kilometers per hour. This is quite amazing.
صاحب السمو الشيخ محمد بن راشد قال لنا نبى نوصل المريخ قبل 2 ديسمبر 2021. والشيء الثاني قال الشيخ محمد تبنونه ما تشترونه. لولا متابعه صاحب السمو الشيخ محمد بن زايد وصاحب السمو الشيخ محمد بن راشد لفريق العمل الشباب اللي في الميدان ما وصلنا للمرحله اللي احنا فيها.
خلال الفترة الأخيرة تقريبا 6 سنوات الفريق كان متغرب، كان برا الدولة يتعلم.
رحت كوريا، رديت من كوريا، تميت أسبوعين، رحت أمريكا.
كل تحديات الصعوبات أثر في شخصيتي، أثر في حياتي الشخصية، علمني المسؤولية، علمني الصبر.
مرينا بأوقات إنه فعلا يعني حسينا بس ما يخلونا، هم فعلا كانوا عائلة.
كان عندي طبعا فريق في دولة الإمارات يعمل على المسبار، وكان عندي فريق ثالث كان ينتقل بين دولة الإمارات والولايات المتحدة، بس الكل ضحى
وقاوموا التحديات والمشاكل والظروف.
إيمان الفريق بأهمية هذا المشروع وأثر هذا المشروع على الجيل القادم كانت
All right, so
رحلة مثيرة، لكن الأهم من بلوغ
while
هذه
this
الرحلة
goes
هو
on,
الطريق إليها، والأهم من تحقيق الهدف هو السعي من أجله. نترككم الآن.
Right, so while this goes on, I will bring you guys back to the sharing this video with you guys in just a bit. And I want us back over. I need to stop the share. Yeah, so we are back, and a couple of things, because as I mentioned, we're still about 2,000 kilometers from our objective. So coming back to the discussion points that I had actually mentioned earlier, what is Umair, this is something which I would hope that you could shed some light on. What is the scientific achievement that we are aiming to get through this?
Okay, so before we talk about it, I think that the distance remaining it shows is showing in minus now. So probably because it's going to be in the orbit, it is moving. So I am not sure that the thrusters firing is the time when they have targeted it that they have reached to Mars, or perhaps it is after that 30 minutes of that thrusters firing. So since we need to keep in mind that the probe is going to be in inserted into the Mars orbit. So it is not going to stop. It is continuously going to move. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but I think that the thrusters firing should have completed when they told us that it has reached to Mars. So this is my assumption. So yeah. So okay, science. So thing is, like we just heard Dr. Tyson was talking about the research on atmosphere. So yeah, most of the missions are we're aiming for the surface, for life, before that water, geology, stuff like that. So there was one mission, Maven, I think was the name, something like in 2014. That mission worked on the atmosphere. So that mission told us that the atmosphere is uh, kind of, in a sense, leaking due to the solar wind, and how complicated that stuff is. So it showed us, to my knowledge, that's the only mission which has directly worked on the atmosphere, probably the absolute the first mission. So the hope is going to continuously for at least a year, take data of the upper atmosphere, and it is going to give us that data, which we will astronomers, scientists would analyze for some time, and then they would be able to figure out the interaction between the solar wind and the upper atmosphere of the Mars. So it is very complicated stuff. So this is going to be a major step forward in working out the atmospheric leakage from the planet. And they have two spectrograph for that. And if you're going to Mars, it would be absolutely a necessity that you should have a camera. So they have a very good camera, which is going to take many images. And I read somewhere that the total data it could send to Earth is something like 10 terabyte or 1 terabyte, something like that. So it will be a huge data, which will be mesmerizing. And especially, it's not from NASA, it's not from European Space Agency, it is from UAE, the first Islamic country, the first Arab country. So really excited to see the first image, and really excited to see the data it gives to the astronomers, which will tell us all the details about the interaction.
Right. So still looking at the data that is being sent to us from the Emirates Mars mission. Anybody, by the way, if you guys are watching this live with us, I hope one of your tabs is the Emirates Mars mission. We are the distance remaining that it's showing me is 1,500 kilometers, and it is decreasing very rapidly. And the speed that it is showcasing over here is around more than 87,000 kilometers per hour. So let's all hope for the safety of this probe. Speaking of which, sir, Mr. Hasan, I would actually like for you to give us some representation of and some information as to what are the different instruments that is on the probe, and what data will it those instrumentations. As we understand, there are three instrumentations. So if you could please
Sure.
shed some light on this.
Before I would go to the instruments, I would like to explain to everyone some basic information about what is Mars and what is the Earth itself. I mean, this is something which people have to understand, who people are, most of the people there don't care about much of this information. Just to, as a comparison, you see, this is the planet Earth, and this is the planet Mars. You see, it's almost like less than half into the size. Now, using the analogy of the planet Mars, where we are heading toward it, so we are just coming from a side and trying to go at the back of it, and then coming up. Now, going like this and coming, we have to go very close first time, so close that the Mars can capture us. And then we are being in a big ellipse kind of orbit, just like a big, shallow, kind of egg-shaped orbit. And then gradually we're going to trim that orbit to make it more circular, to study the atmosphere and study the things which we're going to call that orbit is the study orbit. So we have three types of orbits. One is the coming and the capturing orbit. Second is the big main orbit, which will come the first time, and then the maneuvers will take us to the study orbit. So three stages of orbiting and fixing ourselves around Mars. The spacecraft might be also coming in different angles, so fixing that angle to become equatorial, and all of this, the details are being here as a kind of stages we're going to witness in coming days. But today is this main one, which is the probe is coming and coming very close. And at this stage, when it's close to the planet, it is actually from the beginning, it's firing its retro rockets. The six rockets are there on the spacecraft, which are firing to slow down the speed of the spacecraft and make it so much slow that it should be captured by the gravity of the planet and takes an orbit, a turn. And that turn will go all the way to the back and then go forward again. And then engines will fire again and again and again to make that orbit more as a kind of the orbit which is useful for gathering the data. Now, using this analogy of things, so today anticipation is only for this period. Otherwise, in a couple of days, we're going to have those maneuvers so we can start our instruments to really take the data. So what instruments are we going to use to take the data? This is this is a model of 3D printed of the Hope spacecraft I have in my hand. And as you can see, this is the main antenna, high gain antenna, low gain antenna, the power systems, which is the solar panels. And then we have the main instruments at the front of the spacecraft, which basically the spacecraft will be looking to the Earth like this, to your side, and the instruments downward on the Mars, looking at the planet and taking and capturing the things. Now, the instruments on the probe is three main instruments. These instruments, actually, I want to simplify it in such a way that people can remember it very well. According to the planet Mars structure, we want to study the atmosphere. So these instruments are, all of them, is being made in such a way to study the atmosphere. So there are instruments which is specifically for upper atmosphere. Then there is instruments for the middle atmosphere. And there is the last one, which is for the surface study section. Now, the first one, which is basically what we will start as a simple, it is the imaging camera systems, which basically they will image the surface and above the surface features and a study of the meteorology of what we can call something like troposphere on Earth. And then we're going to look through infrared. Infrared, it is the spectrum of light below the visible, which can show us water vapor, which can show us dust, which can show us multiple things, which will be concentrating on the middle atmosphere, which we can simplify it as a stratosphere kind of concept. Then the probe will look with a third instrument, which is the UV, ultraviolet cameras and ultraviolet sensors, at the upper atmosphere, where the gases are escaping, there are happening some interaction with solar wind, And that thing, the upper atmosphere or the near to the space atmosphere, how it's behaving and how it's affecting other two layers of the atmosphere. So the instruments, again, I'm going to repeat. Imagine with me the spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum. We have the ultraviolet area. We have a sensor there. Then we have a sensor for the visible. And then we have the sensor for the infrared. So basically, we are studying Mars in most of the spectra. Yep. Anything, Shiraz?
No. That is all.
Okay. So basically, we are studying the Mars as a kind of a full level from the ground all the way to the space, what this atmosphere is, what's happening there. And as a fact, just for all of you, the viewers and the listeners, Mars have 90% less atmosphere than Earth, and most of it carbon dioxide, which is very unique. Nothing looks like our atmosphere. I mean, if I want to make a comparison of Mars atmosphere and Earth atmosphere, it's almost like you are on top of Himalaya mountain where human cannot breathe. It's so shallow that humans cannot breathe in that height, around 10 kilometers above the sea level. So the Mars atmosphere is something like that. And even to make it more comparable, the highest speed wind in the Mars atmosphere. I mean, you're standing on the ground of the Mars and there is the storm is coming to you. That storm have the maximum number, which we have measured till now through the Mars rovers. It was something like a very gentle breeze when you're standing at the seashore. So it's very light, very light. This is the storm on Mars, not like the Martian in the film. The storm was carrying people out. So that's absolutely not there. So moving now from this kind of very low atmosphere, very less atmosphere, and dynamic, by the way, what we observed previously from all the other spacecrafts, from the orbiters, what we found that Mars have this simple atmosphere, if we might say it like that, but it's very dynamic in a sense that every 2 years, seasons are changing. Mars have a huge dust storm. That dust storms really envelops all Mars. It's not that dust storms comes in regions. No, the whole planet covers with this dust storms. And it stays for months and then it clears up. So the question is how the dust storm starts on global scale and how it diminishes. And so many things we want to study and look at it. There is also an element of fluctuation of the atmosphere where the cold atmosphere comes down and hot atmosphere goes up. That kind of cycle inside the atmosphere, the turbulence or the engine which is going, what kind of engines? We can observe on Mars sometime that there are hurricane. Yes, hurricane, but the gentle hurricane. We can see the clouds are forming and then dissipating. There are lots of things is happening on Mars. And these clouds and these things and this atmosphere is really affecting the topography of the surface of the Mars. To give you an example of that also, the polar cap, north cap, south cap, these are made of CO2, carbon dioxide, and they expand and contract. Now, it goes shrink and expansion in the winters and contraction on the summer. The opposite happens to that. So Mars have also seasons because it's tilted 25 degrees on its axis, like Earth is 23 degrees. All of that dynamic atmosphere, dynamic actions which we see on Mars requires a probe like Hope to really explore and reveal the mysteries and reveals the questions we have. We have plenty of questions about Mars atmosphere, which will pave road for much more knowledge. And we believe that answering one question will open the door for another 10. And that's what we are looking for, that this should be the beginning of the missions, not the end of the missions to Mars.
Sir, there is some movement back again here at Mission Control. And I would like to share the screen once again of what we were initially observing.
Sheeraz?
Yes.
The speed it shows on Emirates mission website is continuously increasing, the speed of Hope probe.
Yeah.
And the distance remaining is decreasing.
Yes.
And if we see, if we click the track Hope probe, it shows the visual demonstration, the diagram, that the probe is a bit ahead of Mars. So obviously, this is because they need to put it in the orbit.
Right. Okay. So just
because since the as Mr. Hasan told us that probe is really coming in very fast, so they are going to fire automatically the thrusters, which will actually decrease the speed and put it in the right orbit.
Right.
So we are waiting for that confirmation that it is successfully in the Martian orbit. We are waiting for that confirmation. Yes.
Yes. So we are live in
دقائق حرجة إذا وضغط
mission
كثير على
control right
الفريق.
now.
فعلا. إلى جميع الفرق، إلى شعب دولة الإمارات، إلى الأمة العربية والإسلامية، نعلن نجاح وصول دولة الإمارات في مدار كوكب الأحمر. اللهم لك الحمد، اللهم لك الحمد، اللهم لك الحمد.
There's a clap.
Yep, they have reached that place.
Oh, so they made it.
So
yeah, the orbit insertion is happening.
Oh, mashallah, they made it. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes. We've done it.
Good. Wonderful.
Amazing.
Amazing. Goosebumps. All my hairs are standing. Goosebumps.
Seriously, guys, subhanallah.
Alhamdulillah.
We have done it. Alhamdulillah.
Wonderful.
Alhamdulillah.
So wonderful.
This is what I call being part of a moment in history. Subhanallah.
Goodness, they're Sheeraz, their first attempt and absolutely successful.
Yep.
Stunning.
Beautiful.
قائد الفريق عمران.
Now they can breathe.
شرف ولحظة
Everyone in the mission control can breathe now.
للوطن العربي.
Wow.
معريج، فهذه كما ذكرتم أصعب مرحلة، والحمد لله تعالى تخطينا هذه المرحلة بنجاح. مهمات لكوكب المريخ أخرى تصل الأسبوع هذا إلى كوكب المريخ.
في مهمتين غير مهمة الإمارات السياحة في المريخ توصل، ولكن لله الحمد الإمارات وصلت كخامس دولة، بتي بعدنا الصين ومن بعدها الولايات المتحدة.
الحمد لله إن شاء الله.
إذا الإمارات تدخل أبواب التاريخ في هذه اللحظة بدخول مسبار الأمل مداره.
Mr. Hasan, you need to translate it for us.
Yes, they are talking about. We see the Sheikh Muhammad and Sheikh.
وصاحب السمو الشيخ محمد بن زايد آل نهيان يتوجون بحضورهم ومتابعتهم هذه اللحظة التاريخية وإنجاز
the moment of arriving to Mars.
Mr. Sheeraz, a little cue for you. Look at the color of the dress.
أقول أخونا محمد
Yes.
بن زايد يقول مبروكين على
So we're all
You
in
and I.
blue.
المريخ
We are all in blue.
وما قصر يا طويل.
الحمد لله الحمد لله. اسمح لي بكلمتين نشكرهم.
تفضل.
مبروكين يا شباب، مبروكين انتوا علينا، مبروكين انتوا على شعب الامارات، مبروكين على امتنا العربيه اللي حققتوه شرف لكم ولأهلكم ولبلادكم ولأمتكم. شيء ثاني اريد أبارك لمعزبنا وشيخنا سيدي صاحب السمو الشيخ علي بن زايد، وللمعزب وتاج راسي ابو راشد اللي كان الدينامو الرئيسي وراء هذا الحدث. أبارك لحكام دولة الإمارات، أبارك لشعب دولة الإمارات الوفي المخلص اللي اليوم فرحته ما توصف، وانتم السبب بعد توفيق رب العالمين.
Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed is praising everyone, every person in this mission, and also the public of the UAE for their hard work and amazing achievement, which is a proud for everyone, proud for our country, for Arab countries, for the world. It's amazing, amazing achievement.
هو بداها وانتم وصلتوا. الحمد لله. مشكورين على المجهود، مشكورين على المستوى، مشكورين على التشريف اللي شرفتونا به. رفعتوا راية بلادكم وسمعتها في المريخ. حفظكم ربي، جيل يشرف، ومبروكين مرة ثانية انتم على بلادكم. سعدنا بشوفكم، فرحتنا
Again, Sheikh
كبيرة.
Mohammed bin Zayed is praising and thanking and giving a special thanks to all this amazing team who worked very hardly to make us so proud, make us reach to Mars. And as we see, the probe have reached and inserted in the orbit around the Mars. The fifth country in the world which have reached to Mars. Today is a historical moment that today we have our probe around Mars, and definitely this will pave road for much more grand ventures and explorations and motivate everyone on all the scales, young, old, and I'm hoping that this will open the doors on the widest for amazing ventures to come up.
والله فرحتنا كبيرة.
They're exchanging the greetings.
They are so happy.
Exactly.
تعالوا عقوا هذا يا شباب. تعالوا عدلنا. تعالوا.
عقب نرجع نصور يا شباب.
يلا هاتوهم خليون هني خليهم يجون.
Now they're taking a group picture.
I can just read the expressions they have. They are so happy.
It is.
I've never seen so much smiles on their faces. They're so happy.
مبروكين يا عيال، مبروكين.
ما شاء الله.
ابو راشد ما بتيني؟
هذه المسؤولة عن الثرست. كان الاعتماد وايد عليها.
Sheikh Hamdan is praising the lady which is standing beside Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed. She was responsible for the controlling the thrust software.
اليوم شرفتونا.
Okay.
وصلتوا لهالدرجة. الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله على التوفيق.
اللهم لك الحمد والشكر على هذا الإنجاز الكبير.
Is there impossible is possible.
Yes.
مبروكين يا عيال.
They proved it.
سلموا على أهلكم.
Yep.
الله يسلمك.
مبروك طبعا، مبروك للإمارات وللوطن العربي هذا الإنجاز التاريخي.
بلا شك. This is something to be proud for generations.
لحظة تاريخية لنا جميعا.
It's a historical moment by every means. So that's the thing. So what will be the next? Definitely the next will be that the probe is going to transmit different types of data, which it captured while it was inserting. And it was at the dark side of the Mars. Means this is the planet Mars. So the sun is here at the back, and this is the back of it. So what you are looking at is the back of the spacecraft, back of the Mars. Spacecraft goes into the shadow, and the communication disturbs, means it stops. It no longer can communicate with the Earth. So it goes there for almost like half an hour, and then once it comes from the other side, then it can retransmit and connect with the Deep Space Network, which will give us the signal. And this is exactly what happened now, that we receive the signal after the cutoff of half an hour. And now we are receiving the signal, and this will continue all the way. The spacecraft will be taking an orbit, and all the data which we have collected. Specifically, we're going to look for our location, the criteria of our orbit which we are in, and based on that, we'll take immediate decisions how to really convert this data to useful information, so we can really add, subtract the on and off of the engines to confirm our orbit around Mars in more systematic way, and to reach to what we call the stable data or data acquisition orbit system.
Right.
Sheeraz?
Yes, sir. I'm still a bit at a loss of words. It's as I mentioned, it's quite. This is what it feels like to be part of history. However, I would like to shift the topic to something more light, and this is for all my young viewers out there. Now that we have reached Mars, when is it returning? I know the answer to this, but sir, I would really love for you to take this. When is it returning, and when will we be able to touch it again?
Believe it or not, Sheeraz, one of the things which I was young and I heard about the spacecraft. One of the things used to really hit me that, okay, we send the spacecraft, when are we going to get it back? And it was a very natural thing that we don't want our things to be gone, but the facts have to be facts. We are sending spacecrafts to study things very far away. And we are making it in such a way that these are robots. These are not humans. Humans, we want to save their life and bring them back. But the robots, we can dispose them. We can let them work there till they're actually not capable of operating furthermore. So this is how we actually build up the things out. It's not a living thing by means of living. It's more a kind of a robot. So it does a specific functionality where it reaches to the destination and we leave it there. Yes, it looks kind of a bleak picture for the kids, but we have to be cheer up. The machine, the spacecraft and the mission going to give us lots of data and understanding. And this is why you are using the spacecraft instead of humans. And that's what will be the end of it. So the spacecraft might work for longer duration as it have solar panels, which the power will be continuously available. The expected mission time is 1 year, 1 Martian year, which is equivalent to 2 earthly years. But the mission can be definitely extended if everything was running perfectly. It might be orbiting Mars for longer and longer period, as which you have seen with other spacecrafts also, like rovers and other orbiting satellites around Mars.
Right, sir. Umair, as we know, this is not the only mission which is headed towards Mars as of now. What other missions are being targeted towards Mars as we speak? And I don't know if targeted is the right word, but you know what I mean. So what other missions are going to Mars?
You're trying to spoil all the happiness that I have, and I am in. So I really don't want to talk about those two missions. I mean,
Okay, just
I mean, to
briefly
me,
touch it.
yeah, I would. But the idea is that I will find it very hard to sleep tonight. I would be
Umair,
so
let's
desperately. I
be
would be
honest,
so
Umair, you're
desperately
in the
waiting for the
observatory every
first
day.
picture. Sorry?
I'm saying, let's be honest, Umair, you're in the observatory every day. You don't sleep at night. So
yeah, that is. These are my big biceps. So
now you'll not be able to sleep in the morning also. Anyhow, so you were saying
that might happen. That might happen. So I was just saying that I will be desperately waiting for the first image that Hope will send. I mean that will be so amazing. I mean, this is so unbelievable that just happened. So yeah, so two other missions. Yeah, yes, they are on the way, and Chinese have a rover as well. So they will rove on the planet. They will be on the surface, and they will be doing their type of science. And but I mean, really sorry, I really don't want to talk about those missions. So,
okay.
I am so grasped with the Hope mission.
Okay, so then let me also bring some things.
You should have another podcast for that.
No, totally will. But what I'm saying is, I would also like to ask you a question which will bring you to the light side of things for the timing, because this is a question which we get all the time, and as somebody who works with telescopes as much as you do, now that our satellite has reached Mars, will we be able to see it through the telescopes? Can we take the pictures of our satellite?
Yes, these are the kind of questions people. I mean, the whole idea is that everyone is so interested when these such kind of news are coming up. But the problem is that no one from the planet Earth can see the mission. It's not about these telescopes. It's about they cannot. This is physically impossible because that object is so small and it is emitting far less light that any telescope can grasp. There are multiple reasons. Another reason would be that it is so close to the relatively very bright planet Mars, so it will be absolutely impossible to image it. So the only information the deep space network would be having is the signals it will be transferring to planet Earth.
All right, gentlemen, I have already taken a lot of your time, and first and foremost, thank you guys for giving me your precious time, and thank you very much for everybody who's watching us. However,
thank you.
I have just one last question for Mr. Hasan. This is the beginning of space exploration in UAE, and this is the first space mission that we have sent. Alhamdulillah, very successfully sent. What's next, and what is the future of space in UAE?
Okay, this is definitely the steps which we have gone through since the initiating of the programs of the space. We have launched several satellites as a UAE. In the past, we had Al-Thuraya, we had participation in Arabsat, satellites for telecommunication and for TV broadcast, Thuraya for communication. And they are also, we had parts in global networks of satellites, the Intelsat. Now, we had started to have a GIS applications and satellites like Dubai Sat 1, Dubai Sat 2, Khalifa Sat, and there is Yahsat, which is again telecommunication and also remote sensing. We have Muzensat and we have the CubeSat programs already running in University of American University in Sharjah, Sharjah University, Khalifa University, Al Ain University. And with all of this is running also New York University in Abu Dhabi. All of this universities involved to develop the next generation of explorers. And the plan goes like this. There is a fourth satellite going to come up. Next to that, we will be having a moon rover. We are planning now to go to the moon and have moon rover to be launched in a couple of years. And then I'm hoping again to go for rover for the Mars. And after that, I hope, or in between also, I'm hoping to launch some sort of space telescope programs and moving furthermore to go in exploration of other outer planets. So there are two visions. There is one official vision, which already I told you about, going to the moon. Now, an unofficial vision, which is I'm putting on the table. So I hope everybody shares with me that we want to go to the planets. We want to go and put a space telescope. We want to participate actively in International Space Station, new developments, updates, recommissioning, putting new things out there, working on space tourism sector, developing the sector so we can have factories, we can have institutes, we can have universities. I'm hoping from my heart that people will participate with the government actively and really pick up this whole momentum and use it for the benefits and benefits of the humankind. And with that words, I want to add one more important, very important thing. Today, when we are talking about the collaboration and cooperation, I'm not talking about only the UAE people or UAE residents or Arabs. I'm talking about the global level scale. Today, this mission wouldn't be possible if there was not global effort to make it up. Yes, today we have achieved something very nice. We have learned lots of things and we are going to learn more. So I'm asking for everybody to come and share with us the knowledge, information, shake hand, and collaborate together to go to the stars. Again, I'm very much anxious to go to the stars, and I hope someday I'll be able to witness a rocket launching, carrying a probe toward Alpha Centauri, for example. That will be such an amazing, amazing, amazing time. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. Hasan, I have a question. Sheeraz, if I can ask him a question. Sure. When are you, me, and Sheeraz going to Mars?
Oh, for my amazing, amazing thoughts. I hope I'm young enough to go there, but I don't think so. The health sometime really bypass you and the age. Definitely, it would be amazing things. I was dreaming, by the way, when I was in 70s, I was really dreaming that someday I'll be heading to Moon or Mars. But now that thing is because of the age and the health. I don't think it should be that possible. But definitely, I'm hoping that UAE have the vision. By the way, I forgot to say that UAE have the vision to have a city on Mars by 2117. Yes, in 100 years, we want to have a city on Mars and send humans in around 30 years' time. Wow. For you, Umair, I think, yes, you can. Shiraz, you can. For
Sir,
me,
I can't.
Give me a break, guys.
I think my health also doesn't allow me to go. But mashallah, Umair is very healthy and he's young.
Yeah. I will double my vitamins. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But definitely for the new generation, I'm giving the green flag. Yes, guys, prepare yourself. Definitely, you will be one of those people who are going to go to the Mars.
Inshallah.
It's not impossible. Today we did it. So just remember, there is no vocabulary. In our vocabulary, there is a word of impossible is not there. This is the words of our leaders. They are saying there is no word of impossible in the vocabulary. So there is no impossible. We can do it. All of us can do it. Inshallah, we'll go all together, inshallah, to the Mars and have that triumph for everyone in the humankind.
Sir, with that, I would actually like to end this stream because as it is, I've taken a lot of your time, and I would like to first and foremost, once again, congratulate our entire nation for this amazing achievement, which I can only see opening many, many more opportunities and doors to greatness. And secondly, thank you both, Umair and Mr. Hasan, for being part of this. And thirdly, I would like to thank my entire team who has been the backbone of making this possible. On my end, I'd like to take names, but I'm afraid I'll forget somebody. And but sure, Mahmoud, Habiba, Ahmad, Khadija, Amina, Hamza, Omar, Ali, all of these people who are part of this, Anas, Hussein, all of them who made this stream possible. And thank you very much, guys. I hope you're watching this. And with that, I'd